Well, hello there, friends and family. I'm coming to you tonight to talk about something that I know's got many of y'all upset, worried, and to some extent scared. Uh, you're just like a lot of us. You went on Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot even, Lowe's, and what have you, and pretty much all the face masks, respirators, and or gas masks have been sold. And they don't even know when they'll be restocked. Some of them, if you click on them, will say unavailable at this time, or they'll say out of stock, or they'll say the delivery date, which is out towards the end of February now, middle of March. The problem with all this being, unfortunately, most of the protective gear, the face masks, the respirators, even the gas masks, they're all manufactured in China. And right now, what China has done is they've extended the Lunar New Year holiday by, I think, another 3 days at the end of, anyway. They're not even coming back till next week. And that's got all the manufacturing pretty much shut down in China. No exporters are shipping out any new goods. And there is talk today that that might be extended to the end of February. So that being said, I've had a lot of people reach out to me. They said, well, everything's sold out. Now what do I do? As well as others have reached out that are retired, just like I am. Most of you who follow the channel know I'm retired. And they're living on a fixed income, barely making ends meet. They've got their own health problems. They've got costs of their prescription drugs, just like I do. A lot of them have to pay rent. Thank God it's a blessing that if I didn't do anything right, at least I paid off this old house so I don't have to pay rent, because I'm going to tell y'all, I would really struggle to make it if I had to do that as well. But that being said, I thought all last night as I was reading emails and everything, and that from many of you about, what to do, where to go, what can I buy. I don't have much money, I'm scared, whatever it was. And as this wore on, as I read them, I really got to, because I hear you. And just like overnight, between Monday night and Tuesday, the infectious number of cases of infected increased over 60% overnight. What that'll be tomorrow morning, I don't know. Last I looked, it was approaching 5,000 with 107 deaths. Of course, everybody's saying, China's underreporting it, which I tend to believe that as well. Otherwise, why would you be building 2 more hospitals? But the more I thought about it, and the more upset I got, I'm all about helping people. And part of making this channel was to leave something behind for the kids and a way of helping them when I'm not here no more. And then that sort of spiraled into people following me and the channel. And I made a lot of they're my digital friends and family. I got to know them some, got to know the situations. And I care for them too. I really do. I care for each and every one of you. And God knows, if I was still working and I had the money, and some of you who've reached out with me and told me of your situations, expressed your concerns, and what do you do now with little to no money, nothing available to buy? Like I said, if I had it, I'd buy it if I could, and I'd send it your way. But that's just not possible now. So, I can have all the good intentions in the world, I just ain't got the bucks to back up the promise. But with all that said, I thought to myself, what other avenues could we look at where you could at least go out and purchase something to give you some level of protection? And I didn't sleep much last night. And I got up early this morning, went ahead and showered for the first time in about 3 days, shaved. I was looking like an old man in the woods, and I headed out to see what was available here in my small rural town. And my thought was, if there was still something available here in this tiny little town, then maybe where you live, it would be available there too. But understand this, with every hour and every day you hesitate, what I'm about to show you and where these things came from will be drying up too, as the word keeps spreading. So bear that in mind, okay? So let me show you what I was able to go out today and find in a tiny little town in South Alabama. So y'all, what you are looking at right now is what I was able to go out this morning in my small southern town of less than 5,000 and pick up today, locally, at several different locations. And what my hope is that if you'll get out tomorrow morning too and do the same thing and search these same locations, you'll be able to acquire some type of mask to protect yourself as well. Now the first one here, and we're going to go from least effective on up through here to most effective. So what we have right here is we have standard mask. And this is a surgical grade mask right here. Now, I purchased these at CVS, our local drugstore. Now we only have the one drugstore. And these say right here on the box, helps filter out dust, bacteria, smoke, and pollen. Surgical grade, 99% effective. So that seems pretty good, doesn't it? Well, the downfall to this particular mask is the fact that it doesn't seal well to your face. That's the downfall. Without sealing airtight, it can still allow some bacteria and viruses are smaller even than bacteria, to get past it between the mask and your face and enter your nose, mouth, and then you're infected too. Now there is a way to better seal this mask, and once I go through a couple of these other options, I'll come back and tell you a way that you can effectively seal these masks to your face. But what I want you to understand about a mask like this is think of it more as a physical barrier. In other words, a shield. And what I mean by that is when somebody coughs or sneezes, they expel droplets out of their airways, their lungs, their nasal passages. And if that person happens to be infected with the virus, those droplets they expel when they're coughing and sneezing are propelled out into the environment. And if you are in close proximity of that person, those droplets can land on your lips, on your face, in your mouth or nose, or close proximity to those if you don't have anything covering them. This will prevent that. And that's about all it's worth, just like it is. So think of it as your least protection and only as a physical barrier. Now at some point in time, if you're around a person that's sneezing and coughing a lot and you're within a certain distance, and I would say less than 6 to 8 feet, 6 feet being bare minimum, then those droplets could hit the mask. At some point in time, especially if there's enough coughing and sneezing, this mask will become moist and those viruses will get through the filter material. So it's only a matter of time, once this mask is contaminated, that the viruses will get through the filter itself. Now these masks right here, I picked them up at our local CVS. We only have the one drugstore, and they're a 10-count box, and they were $8.29 a piece. So you figure they were 83 cents a piece. That's fairly cheap, but like I say, bear in mind, think of them more as a physical barrier to those expelling the droplets that are carrying the virus. The next thing we're going to be looking at here are these surgical masks right here. And I was able to pick them up at Walmart today. That's all they had. And these right here, you'll see them all the time. They're worn in hospitals and what have you. Standard surgical mask. And it's the Equate brand. And it says bacterial filtration efficiency greater than 99%. And that's exactly what these masks over here. They're surgical grade, 99% effective. Now both of these masks are really not meant to protect the wearer from something. They're meant to protect the hospital environment, such as a surgical suite, patient's room, or the patient, from any bacteria that may be expelled out from the health professional that's wearing them. That's their primary purpose. Here again, the problem with these masks is they're extremely hard to seal against your face to impossible. But like these, I'll show you how to improve that mask to face shield here in just a moment. Now, these surgical masks right here that I got from Walmart, and there is 20 in this box. They were $6.97 a piece. So we're going to say what, 36 cents a piece? Fairly cheap. In fact, the cheapest of both of these. Both are surgical grade. Both are 99% effective against bacteria. Here again, I'm saying both of these would be barriers. The next level of protection would be these right here by 3M. Now I was able to find these at my local hardware store, True Value. And these are an N95 respirator. Yep. And you can see right here on the box, N95. Here again, the problem I have with these masks is their ability to seal tight towards your face. Now, they can be sealed. And health professionals are trained how to seal them properly and how to test the fit. Most of us aren't. But I will include a video below in the description that shows you exactly how to fit this type of mask and how to test it, so you can learn how to do it as well. But as with these other two, there is a way to take the surface around this mask and seal it more effectively to your face. And what I'd like to do now is talk a little bit about that. So what I've got here is I've got two different methods. And I was taught this one method, about 35, nearly 40 years ago. And most of you may have this in your home. If you don't, it's readily available at Walmart, drugstore, whatever, and it's petroleum jelly. Yep. And what you're going to want to do with this petroleum jelly is you're going to want to take it, and you might have to warm it up just a touch. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to apply it to the edge of this mask. Same being with these here. Apply it around the edges liberally. Coat this sucker. And you do the same thing with this N95 mask. And think of it as being a sealant. This is going to act as a sealant on the mask to your face. Sort of, you know, like a silicone caulk seal or rubber seal. But how effective that is going to be how much you put on there. When I say liberal, I want you to coat it up. You shouldn't be able to feel any of the texture of the mask. Now the downfall to this method is, if it's rather warm outside, if you're exerting yourself, you're going to sweat. As soon as you start sweating, it's going to want to start diluting this petroleum jelly, at which point that seal could be compromised. But this has been proven to work, and it was taught to me years ago. A second option to seal these masks is to get you some tape. Now, some made funny comment about they just duct tape the mask to them. Well, you could do that. You could literally duct tape the mask around your face. I do think that would be rather painful should you have to take it off. But this is a waterproof, medical grade, hospital grade tape. And what you'd want to do with this tape is, once you put on any of these masks, you're going to want to tape up around the edges of the mask where the mask meets your face. And basically tape it on you and all around the mask wherever it touches your face. You could do the same way with this N95. Either of these methods will improve the seal on these masks. And depending on how robustly you do it, will depend on how much more of an airtight fit that you get when using any of these masks. Now, the price of these right here over at the True Value hardware store, when I went to pick them up today, was $18.49. So, but there's 20 in that box. So they're definitely more pricier than the surgical mask or these surgical cone face masks. And I found these right here, these N95s, in the paint department. So if you have a hardware store, you might be able to find some of these still there too. Now the fact is, $18.49 might seem a little pricey, but the same mask on Amazon is going now in upwards of $40 or more for just $5 to $10. I've even seen some N95 masks on Amazon going for as high as $9, $10, $15 a piece. So get out tomorrow morning and see, maybe your hardware store in their paint department has some of these N95s there as well. Now, that was just regular price at my hardware store, True Value, $18.49 every day. So they hadn't jacked up the prices. That's one thing I'll say about these Equate here and the cone face mask. They had not increased the prices based on the current situation with the coronavirus. But out of the three, this is your better option, the N95. Learning how to fit it to your face, how to test it, is vital. And like I said, I'll provide a link to a video by 3M on just how to fit a mask and how to test it. And that'll be below the video description. Now, your next level. And I've got a good friend, Rudy, over at the Alaska Prepper channel. And Rudy did a video yesterday on it. And part of his video was comprised of this mask right here. And this is a 3M performance respirator. It's also N95 compliant. Comes with 2 filter cartridges. And it is an organic vapor mask. That would be a level of protection up from this mask here. In fact, quite significantly, because that would be hard to see, but all around the surface of this mask is a soft silicone rubber seal. So you're going to get a better fit between the mask and your face. And this right here is more than adequate, in my opinion. Now, it doesn't have the face protection, but this, if you put it on, seal it to your face. Here again, you should test it. And the way to test these is you get it fitted, get your straps tight, your cartridges are on, and when you place your hands over the cartridges to block the airflow, you should feel resistance when you exhale. If you don't feel resistance, then it's leaking. And when you're doing that, you'll also be able to feel any air escaping around the perimeter of the seal. At which time, should that be the case, you need to readjust the mask, tighten up the straps, or whatever you have to do to get a good seal. So this mask right here was in the paint department of my hardware store, and it was $34.09. Now I went ahead and picked up an extra pack of filter cartridges. This right here contains 2 filter cartridges at a price of $14.09. And there were more there. Well, it wasn't that many. Maybe 3 or 4 more. But both of this option right here, the N95 3M and the N95 performance respirator, were at my local hardware store. And there may still be some available at your local hardware store too. Now, what you saw in one of my previous videos is what I recommend. And this is a full face seal organic vapor gas mask. Now, the working part of this mask, other than the full face shield, is the same as this mask right over here, less the face shield sealing. So the working part of this mask right here is the exact same as this mask right here. Why I recommend this one, and that's why I got it, is because of the full face seal. And I don't want to take any chances. Now, I bought this mask off of Amazon, and it comes with 2 cartridges. They're right here. And this mask is made in China. It's the strong brand, the ST S100. And like I said, this is the organic vapor gas mask. This cost me, when I ordered it a couple days ago, $79.87. I looked it up just before I started this video. It's now selling for $119.99. And there are other sellers selling it for as high as $159.99. So unfortunately, prices have went up. But as you can see, even here in this small town in South Alabama, I was able to go out, still find masks, still had options. From the least to mid-level to better, and what I think is best, just under, and I'll repeat this, just under a CBRN military style or grade gas mask. And I have one of those. And I have another on order. And I believe they still have some left. Now, the CBRN gas mask that's on its way, And if you don't know what CBRN stands for, that's chemical, biological, radioactive, and nuclear. It's as good as they get. Now that would be the ultimate level. Your CBRN mask would be the ultimate. But like I said, it's $314. That's the cheapest. And they start there. The next level is like $619. And the next level is like $1,200. Now I struggle to be able to afford another CBRN mask. You know, I'm just like many of y'all who watch this channel. I am not made of money. And I'm going to have to cut back on other things based on what I've spent here today. Primarily, it's going to be food, entertainment, stuff of that nature. All that will be put on hold until I cover the cost of what you see before you. And it wasn't that I needed all of it as much as it didn't hurt to pick up some extra. That way I have something to give away to others that might have nothing. But I also wanted to get out there for you out there that watch the channel and see if there were any other places that you could acquire masks and what the cost would be. So friends and family, I hope you learned something from this video. I hope it helps you. I do hope it helps you. I do hope it helps you and provides you a means to acquire some form of protection as far as masks go for you and your family. But I can't stress enough that that window of opportunity will be closing rapidly. You need to get out in the morning and check out these same types of retail outlets in your area, in your cities, your neighborhoods. Check your drugstores. Check your hardware stores and see if any of this is still available at those retail outlets. It's not going to be long before everything has been bought up. You might even want to run by your local Home Depot or Lowe's. Who knows? Maybe they'll still have something like that 3M respirator or some N95 respirators. The only way you'll know is to make the trip and try. I know it's pretty frustrating now and worrisome that all the online outlets are all sold out. And that's why I wanted to do this today. I wanted to do it not because I needed it, but more out of my compassion for all of you. I do want you to be protected. I do want to provide some type of information or some type of avenue where you can at least get something. It may not be the ultimate. And here's another thing to consider. None of what I've showed you today means nothing if you're not going to leave your home or your property. What I would recommend is you should be preparing. And what you're going to be wanting to prepare for is to shelter in place. So you should have adequate food. I would have some water because you never know. Is this going to be a pandemic? If so, some of your municipal facilities could be shut down. Who knows? So you might want to have some water on hand. Definitely some food. You'll want to have some over-the-counter medicines to treat the symptoms. Because the symptoms of this coronavirus are similar to cold and flu. You've got upper respiratory problems, and unfortunately you got lower respiratory problems. That's tightness of your chest, difficulty breathing. You know, there's going to be some mucus formation along with that, I would think. So you're going to need some type of expectorant, cough suppression, things of that nature. So what am I saying is get out there and get those over-the-counter medications as well. Some Tylenol, some ibuprofen, some aspirin to deal with any associated pain. NyQuil. Get some NyQuil. Stock up. You know, you'll use it eventually. Cough syrup. Some type of expectorant. You know, stuff like what is Mucinex and those type products. Stock up on them. so you can treat the symptoms at home. That way you might not have to go to the hospital. Because I'm going to tell you what, going to the hospital right now, especially with the influenza outbreak that we've had, which they say is the worst in quite some time, going to the hospital is a sure way. If you weren't infected, say you just had the cold, and you go to the hospital, well, it's almost guaranteed you're going to have the flu once you leave. And during a pandemic situation, if this coronavirus turns out to be that, going to the hospital, should it just be the flu and not the coronavirus, you may well end up with the coronavirus. So I wouldn't go to the hospital unless I just absolutely had to, and it was a life and death situation. So prepare to shelter in place. So y'all take care out there. Please be safe. Do what you can with what you got. I encourage each of you, don't listen just to old Mr. Tom. Do some of your own research too. This is what I'm doing, and I'm making the decision for me, my children, and my grandchild. I can't be responsible for all of you. If anything, I want this video to give you options of where you still may be able to purchase some of this, options on what is available, and the prices associated with those options and the risks. So, y'all take care, stay safe out there, and God bless you, each and every one of you. And I hope this just sort of fades away, and if it does, we'll be stocked up for the next time. And until I see you on the next video, goodbye for now.